Right. First, I want to give an honor to the Most High Yahawah, to his son Yahawah, to the prophets and elders pushing forth this truth, this gospel, to the four corners of the earth, to all of Israel, the hopeful elect, those mixed in with the other nations, look like the other nations, but even speak the other nations' tongues, but are of Israel according to the seed, the sperma in the Greek, or the sperm of their forefathers. To everybody, I say shalom, peace and greetings. Also want to give a double honors to the prophets of Great Millstone, because it's through them that I heard this truth. And he that hath an ear, let him hear what thus saith the Almighty, not house, but what thus saith the Almighty Yahawah. Again, to everybody, I say shalom, peace and greetings. If you're aware of the times that we're in, not only is the veil being lifted, but this kingdom is falling apart at the seams. It's being unraveled. This kingdom. I said it before in a previous video. If you go through history and you maybe pose the question in Google, the signs of a collapsing kingdom or dynasty, and it will tell you all the symptoms that of which America, or Lady Liberty, is going through right now. Okay? There's unrest. Tensions are high. Okay? The king of Babylon, if you will, the Caucasian man, is hated. Even though these other nations have partaken in the wine of Lady Liberty, the wine being its philosophies, its religions, its democracy. And even though they've done unrighteous dealings with Lady Liberty, the king of Babylon, the Caucasian man, they still hate Esau, Edom. Okay? But the Almighty used Lady Liberty to seduce, that's why she's called the whore, to seduce all the other nations into spiritual fornication, if you will. And so right now what you're witnessing is the collapse of a kingdom. All its allies are feeling it. Even the enemies are looking, salivating at the mouth. Deuteronomy 35. Deuteronomy chapter 30, verse 5. And Yahawah thy power will bring thee into the land which thy fathers possessed, and thou shalt possess it, and he will do thee good and multiply thee above thy fathers. And Yahawah thy power will circumcise thy heart and the heart of thy seed to love Yahawah thy power with all thine heart and with all thy soul, that thou mayest live. 7. And Yahawah thy power will put all these curses upon thine enemies and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee. So right now what you're witnessing here, not just here in Lady Liberty, but throughout the whole world, is the curses that once fell upon Israel, which aided in this great nation falling because they turned away and would not hearken to law, statutes, and commandments, the word of the Almighty, that they fail. Well, because these other nations and the other kingdoms have turned away and have nothing to do with what thus saith the Almighty. America calls itself founded by God, but does everything against his word. The curses are now being placed upon our enemies, both foreign and domestic, if you will. That act you've seen when them storming the Capitol, that is an act of they're desperate. They're losing grasp. They're losing hold. They're watching their kingdom slip away right before their very eyes. And all of that's been headed by and initiated by because Israel has started to call back upon their power, the Most High Yahawah through his son, word, Yahawah Shai. It's his word that cleanses us. I'm at Baruch 2, verse 30. For I knew that they would not hear me because it is a stiff-necked people, you Negroes, Latinos, Native Indians, Israel. But in the land of their captivities, contrary to popular belief, we are still in the land of our captivity. Yes, you may not be walking around with chains. You may not have iron casted around your neck, but you are still slave and in servitude in a system, a beast system, if you will. So contrary to popular belief, yes, we are still in the land of our captivity. Baruch 2 and 30. For I knew that they would not hear me because it is a stiff-necked people, hard-headed. But in the land of their captivities, they shall remember themselves. It's all about remembering who you are and whose you are, Israel, you Negroes, Latinos, Native Indians. In the land of our captivity, what's taking place right now, like Deuteronomy 37 says, the curses will then begin to fall upon our enemies. That's why you're seeing all the chaos here in Lady Liberty. Let's not be deterred here. It's the reason why when they make a big deal about the signs in the heavens as of recently. But when you're in this truth, you know why. 2nd Ezra 6 and 9, for Esau is the end of the world, the age, the eon, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. There's going to be a transition of power. Right now, we're in the beginning stages of it. Let's continue. Baruch 31, and shall know that I am Yahawah, their power. For I will give them a heart and ears to hear. He that have an ear, let him hear. And they shall praise me in the land of their captivity. You Negroes, Latinos, Native Indians, Hispanics, you're still in the land of your captivity, contrary to popular belief. We're still in the land where they would castrate you Negroes and put your genitalias in your mouth. You Native Indians, we're still in the land where they gave you blankets and scalped your head. We're still in that land. We're still in that very land. 32, and they shall praise me in the land of their captivity and think upon my name. That's another hit to those who say that the name does not matter. 33, and return from their stiff neck and from their wicked deeds. What are wicked deeds? Anything that goes contrary to the Almighty's law, statutes, and commandments. I'm sorry, but if you're hanging up a Christmas tree, that's a wicked deed. If you're getting ready for Easter, that's a wicked deed. If you go down there and you find a costume so you can put on for Halloween, that you are partaking in wicked deeds. Go right there to Jeremiah when it tells you about putting up of the Christmas tree. Go right there to Romans when it tells you about what idolatry is, the obsessive love of anything outside of what the Almighty. Anything you love obsessively, you are partaking in idolatry. It's not that deep. That's why he says that I am a jealous God. Let's continue. And return from their stiff neck and from their wicked deeds, for they shall remember the way of their fathers. Like Paul said, everything written aforetime was written for our learning. Everything in the Bible, if you will, literally was written for the times we're in, so that we can go to our text, our history, because history repeats itself. Even Ecclesiastes 1:9 tells you that there's absolutely nothing new under the sun. So the seed of people shall be able to go back to their heritage, their book, and find out and discern the times that we're in. For they shall remember the way of their fathers which sinned before Yahawah, and I will bring them again into the land I promised. Okay? This is a hit to those so-called ish people that are currently occupying. You got a screaming baby. I'm at the mall. Where was I? They shall remember the ways of their fathers that sinned before Yahweh, and I will bring them again into the land which I promised. Now you have folks tell you that you have folks tell you that Israel is already in their land, but they're not, because those so-called they need to get these babies out of here. I'm not gonna lie to you. All right, sorry about that. Well, hey, I'm in the highways and the byways. I'm here in a public place, so anything's bound to happen. Okay. Bring them again into the land which I promised. Yes, that's part of our inheritance, Israel. A land where the Almighty likened us to sheep, and we'll be able to graze. We'll be grazing the grass, if you will. Parabolic, symbolic, metaphoric. Okay? Those so-called Ish people that are occupying the so-called land of Israel, well, we know that's all propaganda. That's all tomfoolery. That's all hogwash. Okay? Stay with me now. And I will bring, 34, and I will bring them again into the land which I promised with an oath unto their fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Yahawah, or Jacob. And they shall be the lords of it. And I will increase them, and they shall not be diminished. 35. And I will make an everlasting covenant. What's in detail in that everlasting covenant? Everlasting life, eternal life. With them to be their power, and they shall be my people, like Deuteronomy explains. When the Almighty brought us from out of Egypt, that was right then where he sanctified us and set us apart. When he gave us his word, that is what made us different from all the other nations of the world, is the Almighty's word. They shall be my people of Israel out of the land that I have given them. Okay? Let's go back here to Deuteronomy 37. I started 5. I'm sorry. I keep saying 37, but 37 is the main point. But let's start here. And Yahawah thy God will bring thee into the land which thy fathers possess. And thou shalt possess it. And he will do thee good and multiply thee above thy fathers. Starting to sound familiar? Listen, man, all these scriptures are talking about the same thing, man. Just different perspectives of the prophets. Okay? Whereas John on the island of Patmos seen the end from one perspective. Well, you had Jeremiah who's seen it another way. Same thing, but just seeing it from a different perspective. Okay? Same. That's why in Baruch, that's in the Apocrypha, it's right here in the Old Testament as well. Let's keep going. 5. And the Lord thy God will bring thee into the land which thy fathers possessed, and thou shalt possess it. And he will do thee good and multiply thee above thy fathers. And Yahawah thy power will circumcise thine heart and the heart of thy seed to love Yahawah thy power with all thine heart and with all thy soul, that thou mayest live. Check this out. And Yahawah thy power would put all these curses upon thine enemies and on them that hate thee, which persecute